Attention shoppers, back-to-back Blue Light specials on aisle 57 and 58.
Welcome to Blue Light Special, the podcast for CPG brand marketers who want to lighten up their hustle in retail and real life. I'm Christine Wright.
And I'm Trevor Lewis. We're here to decode the mysteries of retail and give you some insider hacks to make your brand talk of the shelf. Let's get into this week's episode. Welcome, and let's get into this week's episode where we explore brand collaborations.
Well, first, let's get into what's happening in our worlds. And as you're talking brand collaborations, they are definitely dominating conversations in CPG marketing this year, and we're not even halfway through the year.
Yes. Brand collabs, really nothing new. The fashion industry, footwear have been releasing brand collabs for years. I think everyone understands the Jordan brand.
A little bit.
When you think about some of those, legacy collabs. But here's the twist. It's not just for fashion brands jumping on the collab game. We're seeing it everywhere. And let's admit, as a consumer, we can't wait to see what goes next.
No, it's pretty interesting.
So our first segment, we're going to jump into
Look what I have got for
show
you.
and tell, where Christine and I share the most recent personal experiences in retail. I'm going to hijack this one for a second
You go right ahead.
because I think we're seeing a lot of the influencers, creators, whatever category you want to put them in, make a splash in CPG. I think, Mr. Beast and the Feastables are one of the more notable ones. One of my favorites, Jay Shetty and his wife.
Big fan.
Huge fan of Jay, and obviously his wife is right there alongside him as well. But they launched their sparkling tea brand. I think it's called Junie, if I'm pronouncing that right.
I think so.
In Target. So obviously I followed Jay and subscribed to a lot of the different podcasts that he offers. If you know something about those two, and if you follow them, they have an engaged audience.
Very engaged. Definitely
Engage. And so as you see more of these influencers jump into the CPG game, I can just imagine that the buyer conversations and the buyer merch conversations are slightly different when you say, hey, this is who I am. This is the level of impressions that I'm going to bring to the table.
They can prove it.
They can prove it.
They can prove it. It's not just word of mouth. They can prove it.
They can prove it. And, they don't have to go and seek influencers to help create awareness and drive foot traffic.
They've already done that.
They've already done it. And so I think if I was in the merchant seat, I would enjoy learning about some of these emerging brands that already have what everyone wants, which is attention. So congrats to Jay and his wife. I haven't tried the tea yet.
I haven't either.
So I'm going to have to try it. But if you're not a Jay Shetty fan, then maybe you don't think it's as cool as I do. But I definitely thought it was cool to see them make that splash into CPG.
Well, along those lines, we are ready to offer our shout outs for the week. We love to acknowledge brands that are getting it right. So, Trevor, who is on your radar?
Back to my little one, and she definitely keeps me on my toes and aware of the latest collaborations, especially when it's in, to do with nails. So nails and McDonald's. Just did a little partnership. You have to go check them out. I have no idea
about this whatsoever.
I don't think most people do, but you'll have to.
My girls are older, so I miss out.
It's a nail polish kit.
Yeah, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Okay.
Partnered with Nails, Nails, which obviously know how to spell it, but it's the actual company. So check them out. Type it into Google, Nails, McDonald's fries, nail polish, and you'll be mesmerized.
Apparently.
But I thought that it was
it's interesting. I mean, to put McDonald's with nails and talking about kind of the tween market with your daughter, it makes perfect sense.
Yes, I actually seen one of the kids at one of her practices came in with Crocs as well, and they were McDonald's branded Crocs with the Happy Meal, all of the little icon.
Oh, the little like juju,
widget, whatever I don't even know
fingers.
what you call those things, but they're all McDonald's themed. So you can see that they're definitely kind of playing with different areas with their brand. Another one, not nail polish related.
Totally not nail polish related.
The Guardian caps. I don't know if anyone has, understands, what this brand is, but the Guardians caps essentially is a product that is used with football, and it goes on top of your helmet.
Kind of funky looking.
It is a little funky looking. Looks like a marshmallow on top of
Does
your
look like a marshmallow
on your helmet. But everyone understands how what they're trying to do, which is reduce head injuries, and that is one of the steps that they've had. Now they've been utilizing these Guardian caps during practice. However, the NFL just acknowledged that they're going to allow players to use them during the game.
It's going to be interesting to see who chooses to. It's not mandatory. I guess it's probably.
It doesn't appear to be mandatory at this point. I think that if you go and Google some of the comments that are out there, not everyone's a huge fan of them. But I think for kudos to the Guardians for being able to kind of take that next step. The NFL does have a challenge, which is how do we continue to protect our athletes, but also, how will this impact other levels of football as well? So keep an eye out on the Guardians. I think that we'll probably see this transcend to the collegiate, the high school, the youth level as well, because they know that they have a problem that they got to solve for. And I think they see this as, one of the ways that they can do it. So again, shout out to those guys and gals that are leading the way there. Beekeeper Coffee and Taco Bell, another
where you find these
limited edition. So I'm about 2 p.m. 3 p.m. I'm always looking at, I need a little pick me up. I get up fairly early, and so I kind of have that midday where I start to nosedive, and so I think they're leaning into that as well. So the Beekeeper Coffee just partnered with Taco Bell for a limited edition cold brew latte to in fact serve that midday pick-me-up. So another brand collab that you got to keep your eye on, and if you enjoy coffee, you may try a little Beekeeper Coffee. What have you seen?
Well, I have a couple too that are probably a little odd, and you might not have heard of them. I knew Matthew McConaughey had some kind of alcohol brand, and he does.
Sure
he and his wife have Pantalones, maybe? Organic tequila. And I just saw that they came out and released in honor of No Pants Day the Pantalones Pickle Margarita, which includes ice, jalapenos, pickle juice, lime juice, agave, and of course the Pantalones Organic Tequila. And they're on the pickleball court with no pants on for No Pants Day.
The commercial was great. Christine definitely shared it with me, and anything that Matthew McConaughey does, I think definitely gets a little bit of attention.
He just has this comedic air about him during the whole ad, so I really, really do like.
And then
that
leaning into pickleball, so it wasn't a tennis court; it was a pickleball court.
Pickleball. And
I know that pickleball's fairly a big thing to do.
It's a big deal now.
Yeah, and specifically here in Kansas City, and I definitely say that there's a lot more drinking that happens in the pickleball setting than in the tennis courts. So
it's a little less action.
Yes.
Less injury.
There was another one I think you noted as well.
Yes, there was. I know we've previously talked about Heinz and Barbie, Mattel, doing a collab promotion together for the Barbie movie. And now Mattel is doing another one with Olipop and Barbie. And they're doing a limited edition Olipop Barbie Peaches and Cream flavor. And it's kind of hinting at there may be a launch for a Peaches and Cream Barbie.
Oh.
But Mattel and Olipop, it's just two brands you just would never think are going to go together, which is how most of these are.
Yeah, Mattel's they with the Barbie, they shoot their shot. I mean, they are
taking that movie as far as they possibly can for promotion. Yes.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell, they seem to be hitting.
And I will say, on the baseball note, that's my kid's walk-up song for batting is Barbie Girl. So I will continue to hear that for a while. But one more that I did see, which you and I have talked about, is Krispy Kreme donuts with your McDonald's order. Krispy Kreme provides fresh donuts daily at McDonald's restaurants nationwide. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think that's a bit of a reinvent yourself play for Krispy Kreme. I remember there was just like this, I'll say back in the day, but when I was a kid, there wasn't a Krispy Kreme. The ability to get access to them was far less than what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'd go to certain cities that would have one, and the line was like out the door because
Mm-hmm.
of just who they were. And so I think now you've got to kind of figure out, how do we reinvent ourselves? How do we, become a little bit more flexible in how we introduce our, products? And so that partnership with McDonald's is, yeah. I mean, I don't know that I would go to McDonald's and get a Krispy Kreme,
Well, it's salty sweet. I mean,
but
it's
I
a
know
big
that
play.
plenty of people go to
Yes.
McDonald's just for coffee.
Yes, they do.
So I can see where there's
Donuts and coffee would
a
be
nice little pairing.
It would.
All right, it's time for Herd on the Streets, working side by side with retailers and brands on the daily. We are in the know when it comes to trends. Christine, what is a trend you got your eye on?
The trends that I've been seeing, and there's actually a lot out there. There's a lot of noise in this arena right now, but Walmart just announced a new private label grocery brand called Better Goods. Most items are priced under $5, and they're focused on 3 key components: culinary experience, plant-based, and I thought this was interesting, kind of quote, made without.
Okay.
So I think they're not the first ones to do it. I think others have done it, and so they're kind of jumping on that bandwagon, but really playing to more of the Trader Joe exclusivity line of food, and groceries, obviously, they're a big moneymaker.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm watching because I definitely shop at Trader Joe's. It's my primary grocery.
Well, you have one close. It's not close
it's very close, convenient. And so, but I also do frequent Walmart quite a bit as well. So I'll definitely have my eye on it. Trader Joe's does a great job of not only having quality products, but they also kind of create this level of like exclusivity to them. And so, I know that my mom has recently came to Kansas City and also loves Trader Joe's. But she does not like it when they no longer are carrying her favorite thing. And so
that is kind of annoying. It's kind of like going to a restaurant and they've taken your favorite thing off the menu.
Yes. Yeah. And so, I think someone like Walmart I don't know how they're going to navigate that, but I also know that you're frequently trying new stuff at Trader Joe's. And I think it's because everyone that I've spoken to is like, you've rarely had anything bad there. And so I think that helps them really introduce new products. And so I'm curious on how Walmart will market some of this. Trader Joe's also does a great job of showing you with tasting samples. So I know that's a staple that Walmart's leaned into. Will they do that with their own brand? Will they show the right pairings and help consumers kind of understand, mix this with that or try this with that? Because I think that's what I really enjoy with Trader Joe's is I know it's always going to be good. They also have, a policy that if it's not good, you bring it back. Wow. And so as they jump into this, obviously they know what they're doing at Walmart. They have lots of inside shoppers. So I'm sure they'll be just fine. But even the simplification of the packaging, I was kind of reading, maybe as the creative director that kind of led this initiative, kind of just really highlighting how they navigated the packaging and the simplistic approach. A
lot of thought went into it.
Yeah, a lot of thought, as well as just the naming you mentioned as well. So, cool. What else?
Another one, which I think you're not on the fence with this one. You either like it or you don't. Walmart, Target, and Dollar General are starting to get rid of self-checkouts. I myself don't mind them if it's 10 items or less, but I don't want to be standing behind somebody shopping for a month and it's a full cart. But they did say they believe the changes will improve the in-store shopping experience and give associates the chance to provide more personalized and efficient service.
I'm with you on this. Personally, there's times that it can be convenient. I'd say my number's probably even less than 10. It probably needs to be like 5. Because I feel like I always have a challenge, and then you're waiting for the store associate to come over, and I always buy a lot of fruit, and those are always a pain in the ass to ring up on the self checkout. You got weigh in. I do not like self checkout.
I do if I'm like, I got to run in and get like 2 things that I can just scan. Here's the money, and out I go.
It definitely has its place, but if I have a full cart of groceries. Not interested in that. No. I'll stand in the only cash register that is open with 60 people in line just to not go that route. So I think it's the right move. I mean, they tried it, and I think it had the idea of speed, convenience, was there. But I think ultimately that's a destination within a store that people really want it to be done for them, right?
Mhm.
Put it in the box, put it in the
They don't want to have to do it themselves.
they don't. They just
Mhm.
really don't want to do it themselves, and so Aldi's still probably continue to do what they do.
Yeah, you will pack your own at Aldi's, and you'll pay a
But
quarter
you
for the cart.
understand that, right?
You know it going in.
Going in there, you got to find a few boxes along the
Mhm.
way. You're going to get a little bit more, cost savings because that's kind of their model.
Mhm.
So I think they'll continue to be successful at that. But good to see that they've kind of learned, and I think that that's something all of us can continue to
You
do.
just
Is
put it out there, test it, and learn from
try
it.
it, learn, and
Yeah.
evolve.
Yeah.
So. Oh, and well, this one is much different than changing
You and your nails.
nails.
You're really on that track today.
Nails and nail salons, and really just thinking about that. A lot of innovations happening in those
Mhm.
environments. Specifically, I think we've seen, the emergence of AI and what it's going to do with retailers such as Ulta and Target. I know that they're testing some of this now. I'm not sure that it's fully rolled out, but I know that they're testing AI, which you can kind of, the video that I saw is
It was very cool.
you slide your hand in there. It
like a
reminded me of like
kiosk.
the soda, like the Coca-Cola, where you like choose which
Oh yeah,
drink you want.
at the movie theater.
Yes. It's like you choose what you want. I'm sure you choose gel or whatever all the options are.
Mhm.
I'm way too informed on nails.
I know. That's why I was like, nails today is
Slide
like
your hand underneath there, and
it's just like your one finger at a time, and it was almost like a little digital printer on your nail.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And I think, didn't we see? I might totally be quoting this wrong, but it was like $10.
It was much more cost effective
Yeah.
than if you go in there and hang out and get it done.
Although I'll go for a pedicure, not a manicure, but I really go for the massage chair more than anything.
So those are a few trends.
Yes. So that brings us to the topic of today's podcast, the main topic, which we've kind of been hinting at and talking about this whole time, which is brand collaborations. But now we're kind of more into retailer and brand collaborations instead of brand to brand, or maybe celebrity to brand.
Yeah. So, I think we always try to think about what would, if I'm sitting in a brand manager role and I have this idea, what are some of the things that you may want to, consider before you pitch this to your boss, pitch this to someone else. And I think that, look, the collaboration isn't going anywhere. We're going to continue to see this. I think we've seen this, and we've even executed displays where they're, co-collaborated, brands being represented on a single display. And there's a lot of benefits. I think, if the merchants are always looking at how do we elevate the category. So I think that always just kind of lends itself to, sharing a space, sharing a display, sharing cost, but understanding that as one of the merchants' objectives and goals is to elevate the entire category. I think that that's something that's in favor of a brand manager that may be looking at doing something slightly different than what they've historically done in that category. Is just understanding what the merchant's objectives are. The other thing is, everywhere across all companies, they're scrutinizing cost right now. And so when you think about, a display and the economics of a display, you understand that there's cost involved. And so, and brands got to be scrappy right now. And so one of the ways that
you can share that cost and still
share
get
that
real
cost,
estate on there.
Share the real estate. Yes, you may be carrying your competitors right next to you, but you're ultimately elevating the entire category again. But in this case, you're sharing costs, and that can be another benefit of, how do you create a unique experience, but don't shoulder all of the costs as the brand. That's another way. What's any other?
Well, I have seen, as far as if we're still talking brand to brand, I've had clients where it might be the 3 category captains. So you talked about elevating the category. So those 3 category captains are going to join forces and share a display, and each of them are going to get a side, which makes perfect sense. But then I've also seen within the same category, not just the category captains. And we had a program where there were 22 different suppliers. So you've got everybody from category captains to, some of them only had a few SKUs, but they all came together for a holiday or a Mother's Day promotion to elevate the entire category, which at the end of the day is what the merchants want. not just a SKU, they want the entire category
Mm-hmm.
elevated. When you're talking retailer to retailer collabs, I mean, we've all seen dropping Sephora's into Kohl's or dropping Ulta's into Target. Now it's Petco's and Lowe's,
Mm-hmm.
and Claire's keeps dropping in everywhere. They're in Walmart now. They're in all the
See their
Walgreens.
purple stuff?
Yeah, purple everywhere. But at the end of the day, that retailer is just trying to capture bigger baskets, more of the shopper
Mm-hmm.
purchase. And if you can do that by dropping in known retailers or brands like a Sephora, if you're already in Kohl's, that's a no-brainer to do that.
Yep. So yeah, there you heard a few different ways, that we may approach it. I think the other thing is just, take on some risk, be willing to try something. As we talked earlier in the show, Walmart, Target, they tried self-checkouts. They ultimately learned it might not be the ideal consumer experience.
Walmart tried the health centers, and we just saw this week
they tried
shuttering the whole thing.
You're absolutely right. So it doesn't, a collaboration doesn't guarantee it's going to, change the game for your brand or your organization. But I think both as a consumer, we're looking at this, we're paying attention to it, we're kind of seeking what's going to kind of happen next. Also, as a consumer, you're looking at just pattern interrupt, right? Just do something different. Show me something different, something new and different. And so maybe if we're lucky, we'll have a guest come on that's truly experienced doing some of this.
That would be fun.
And what would be some of the lessons learned just through shared
trial
collaboration.
And error. Yeah.
All right, for our last segment, we want to give you a glimpse into our own minds. We all have those moments where we reflect, learn, remind ourselves of certain truths. For me, it's a memo to myself, and for Christine, it's her I am for the day. It's a chance for us to be a bit vulnerable, share our thoughts, and maybe some of it will resonate with you. So my memo to myself today, it actually is definitely top of mind for me, which
I can see it written down. I'm just waiting for the
nobody cares, work harder.
Yes.
But it is not actually what I stole that from Cameron Haynes. I don't know if any of you, are familiar with who Cameron Haynes is. A little background on him. He's an avid outdoorsman. He really pushes himself to just evolve every single day with his health. But he kind of has this. He's big into bow hunting as well. He's big into training. He's an influencer, and he has this shirt that he's always promoting, which is nobody cares, work harder. And I think that's the memo to myself for sure right now is at the end of the day, nobody really cares, just work harder. So that was my memo to myself.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Well, my I am for the day, and my I am comes from my group of accountability partners. In the mornings, we text each other and ask each other, what are you today, before we start our days. And today, just mine comes from overhearing something in the office. You're going to laugh as soon as I say this. But I am experienced. And I overheard Tia, our business development gal, who's wonderful. She's awesome. I think she was in your office, and she came and started asking you questions. She's kind of new to retail. And she said, I can usually pick stuff up pretty fast. How does Christine know all of this stuff? And your answer was, she's just been doing it for a really long time. Yeah. So that came to me. I really am experienced, but not many people these days continue to do the same job they did when they started out. I'm kind of one of the few left that this is what I started doing 25 years ago, and I'm still doing it. So the experience just comes with those years evolving.
At bats, and we're definitely thankful. And I've shared it more than one time on this show of just how often we are able to benefit off your experience. And luckily for Tia, that she sits right across from you.
She's always asking, "What's this mean?"
She's always all of the acracronyms, all of the why are they doing this, or would this be someone good for us to engage with, and why or why not? And so I know that she's been fortunate to directly benefit from just the close proximities.
Well,
of
it's sheer comedy
desk.
to sit next to her. So
she keeps it spicy. That's no question about it. You mentioned I'm going to say something in the office. I was like, I don't know if that's appropriate, but. All right. Well, that's all we got for this episode. We're definitely grateful to have you along for the ride as we lighten up your hustle through retail and real life.
Thanks for listening and keep your questions and comments coming. We love tuning in to what you want to know about helping your brand stand out in store. Please like and share the podcast. We appreciate your help getting the word out about Blue Light Special. Finally, join us for next week's episode where we will dig into logistics and supply chain with our guest, Nick Giuliani. This podcast is a production of In-Store Design Display, the go-to expert for guiding and elevating your in-store experience. Our wordsmith, Julie Edge, and mix master, Jackie Vera, make all of this possible. So a big thanks to them and the entire team at In-Store Design Display.
Stay tuned for our next episode on YouTube or wherever you consume podcasts. We'd love to hear from our listeners, so please drop us a line and tell us what you want to hear about retail and real life.